If I've looked a bit distracted, it's because I'm thinking about cake, okay? Hello, welcome to another pregnancy update and a chat about our birth plan. Dun, dun, dun. I feel like everybody's been asking me, what's your birth plan? Right from the very beginning, and I just kind of looked at them like, I don't know, I've got no idea, but now we know. So I thought I'd sit down and have a little chat about that. I apologise if this video is super grainy, by the way. It is so dark outside. It has been like chucking it down with rain constantly for about 3 days. It's pretty miserable out there. So yeah, I feel like this video might look like it's been filmed on a potato, especially if you're watching it on a big screen. So I do apologise, but we move. It's winter time in England and that is very, very wet a lot of the time. So I am currently 32 weeks pregnant. I think baby is the size of a Napa cabbage. I don't know what that means. I remember looking at it thinking, what vegetable is that? But I think it's like a long cabbage, maybe. I don't know, maybe like a long iceberg lettuce. We'll see. It definitely feels like a long cabbage because they are running out of room rapidly, but it's so lovely because I'm just getting so many kicks and rolls and wriggles and oh, I just love feeling them. So yeah, it's amazing. But that is where we are at in the pregnancy. It's actually not, it's only been a week since I last did one of these updates, but because a lot has happened over the last week, I thought I'd sit down and have a chat. So where to begin? Last week we had the appointment with our consultant. So if you've been watching the rest of these pregnancy vlogs, you'll know that we are consultant-led in our pregnancy because of a few health concerns and health conditions that I've got. So it just basically means we have to have extra appointments, extra tests and extra monitoring just to make sure that baby is okay and that I'm okay and everything is going in the right direction and is safe in the pregnancy. And it's just, honestly, it's incredible. It really does make us so grateful for the NHS in a bazillion different ways. But the fact that, you know, this care is here for us, it's just, it's amazing. And our midwife, she's just honestly the best. We flipping love her. So yeah, it feels like we have a lot of appointments and a lot of scans, because we've got the midwife appointments, but we've also got the consultant appointments, and then we have growth scans as well, and a bazillion different tests every time I go for those things. But yeah, we're being monitored and everything is all cool. But last week was the big appointment where we basically needed to sit down and have a chat about how our birth was going to look. And the answer to that is that our baby is going to be entering the world via C-section, which is really flippin' scary. However, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get baby here safe, and if that's what we need to do, that is what we are going to do. It's also very weird because it's now booked in and we know our baby's birthday. As long as they don't arrive early, we know their birthday, and it's next month, which is just so scary. It's put the willies up us and we're like, oh my goodness. We need to get a move on and finish all these last little bits. So yeah, we know our baby's birthday. It's bonkers. So yeah, we kind of knew from the very first appointment that we had with our midwives that a C-section might possibly be what we need to do to make sure baby gets here safely. So it's kind of just been at the back of our minds as we've gone through this, and we've been researching C-sections as well as vaginal births and sort of like getting a holistic idea about all of it, which to be fair is a really good idea to do anyway, because I think like 1 in 3 UK births for first-time babies end up in a C-section, either scheduled or emergency. So it's really important to like learn about that side of things as well, so you're not thrown on the day, so to speak. But yeah, we didn't know for sure until last week, and that's when it all got confirmed and booked in. So yeah, I think because we kind of knew that it might be a thing right from the beginning, it wasn't really a shock, but it was very real. Now it's like officially been confirmed. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I've got to gear myself up for that. Yeah, I don't know. I think, do you know what? I think it's been a lot easier to kind of like come to terms with, because I didn't really have a preconceived idea of what I wanted my birth to look like. I know that a lot of people have really specific ideas, like they maybe want a water birth with fairy lights and all of that lovely like spa music, and like no intervention, so as natural as possible, all that kind of stuff. Some people want to labour at home, and you know, some people they have like a really specific idea of what they want in mind. I've never really had that. I think because it's gonna sound really, but I don't think I ever imagined that we'd actually get to this stage, which is why I get so teary and get so like emotional about it, because I just don't think I ever let myself imagine that we'd be at that stage. So I never really had a specific idea of what I wanted it to look like in my head, which I think has definitely helped. After hearing, like, you know, going through that appointment last week and hearing that this is what we're going to be doing, it's definitely helped, because I think if I had that in my head of what of wanting something specific and then got told I had to have a C-section, I'd almost need to grieve like the birth that I wanted in order to process the new one. So I didn't really have to do that, and they just said, look, we're going for a C-section, and I'm like, okay, do you know what I mean? Like we're like, okay, this is what we need to do. Yeah, I feel pretty okay about it, aside from being a smidgen terrified because, touch wood, I've never been in hospital for, I think I've been in hospital once for like some issues there and I stayed in overnight once years ago, maybe like 6-7 years ago, and that's the only time I've ever been in hospital really, and I've never had major surgery, again, touch wood. So it's all pretty scary because it's something that I've never experienced before. And C-sections are major abdominal surgery with potentially, and I say potentially because you never know with these things, do you? Like either way, potentially a really hard, quite grueling recovery. So sounds pretty savage, but then again, so does vaginal birth, not gonna lie. Like I feel like both options are pretty brutal. And this is the thing, you just never really know how either option's gonna go, do you? Like you could have like a planned C-section that is really serene and goes perfectly well, textbook operation, so to speak, and then you know, your recovery is fairly smooth, there's no infections, you're feeling back to normal pretty quickly and everything's great. Or on the other side of the spectrum, things can go wrong. You know, there's loads of different things that can go wrong. Healing could take ages, you know. But then again, the same could happen with a vaginal birth, couldn't it? You could have a really smooth textbook spontaneous vaginal birth with no tearing and baby's fine, or you could get like a 4th-degree tear which could take weeks or months to heal. Like you just don't know until you're in it, which is I think why childbirth just in general is really scary for a lot of people. I know some people absolutely boss it and they're just like, yeah, well, I trust my body and we'll do whatever we need to do. But if you're scared by it all, you're not alone, because as an anxious person, it's really quite tricky, like going into this huge thing and not knowing how it's gonna go until the day. You just don't. So yeah, it's scary from that side of things, but I think I'd be just as scared if we were having a vaginal birth, you know? So swings and roundabouts. We trust our team, and what's been really nice is so obviously we researched C-sections anyway because we knew that it could be a possibility that we'd need to have one. So I kind of like roughly know the procedure, like how the day would go and what it would look like, and you know, the people in the room and all that kind of stuff. But what was really nice was we sat down and we had a chat with our midwife, who just completely explained that even though you're having a C-section, because everybody always talks about birth preferences and what you would like to happen with a vaginal birth, like, you know, water birth and fairy lights and aromatherapy oils and music and all of that. And then it kind of feels like if you're having a C-section, then you don't really get anything. But our midwife explained that that wasn't necessarily the case, and you can look into what's called a gentle C-section. Obviously, major abdominal surgery, pretty brutal. It's not gentle, but I think they call it that because there's certain things that can be accommodated depending on your hospital, and obviously depending on how everything goes and depending on if baby's okay and if I'm okay. There are things that you can request to make it a little bit more personal and special and gentle, I guess. And that was really lovely to hear. So that's something that we're currently looking into and chatting with our team about to see if there's things that we can do. And it's things like, for example, you could ask them if they might be able to lower the drapes for you when baby's coming out. Now, some people, I'm sure, would get totally freaked out by that and would not want to see it, and that is absolutely fine. We would love to see that. I think for us that would be amazing. There is a little bit of me, like the science geek in me, that is genuinely quite intrigued by this whole thing, and I think I'm going to try and go down that route instead of the oh my god this is terrifying route, because it might help me cope a little bit better. But genuinely fascinated by the whole process, and I'm not particularly squeamish, so like I've watched a C-section on YouTube and I was just sat there like, wow, this is really cool, and it didn't freak me out that that was going to be happening to me, so I think that's a good sign. I think that's a good sign. But you know, we would love the drapes to be lowered so we could see baby coming out. You can take your own music in, so you can have your own playlist on. I could have like female power ballads, a bit of Taylor Swift, or some like spa music or something to help keep everything calm. I think you can ask for everybody in the room to be silent when baby comes out, so your voices are the first voices that baby hears. I don't think that we're particularly bothered about that one, but it's a really nice idea. And then immediate skin to skin, again, as long as baby is okay, as long as everything is okay, like my blood pressure or whatever, then they can also look into immediate skin to skin. So baby comes out straight on me, and we can potentially look at trying to latch while they're sewing me up. And yeah, there's options. There are options, and that felt really nice. Sorry. That felt really nice to hear, because I don't feel sad that I'm not going to get to experience like the primal nature of labour. And I think I felt a little bit guilty about not feeling sad about that, because I was like, oh my god, am I broken? Does that make me less of a woman? Does it make me less of a mum? But I think the reality is I just want my baby here safe, and I'll do whatever it takes. Pregnancy hormones. I will do whatever it takes to get a baby here safe. And yeah, so I don't necessarily feel sad about missing out on that side of things, because all births are births, and it doesn't matter whether your baby comes out that chute or if they come out the sunroof. You are still birthing your baby, and it's going to be such a special and incredible day. So yeah, I don't feel sad about missing out on that. I'm just focused on trying to make our C-section experience as positive and as personal as we possibly can, even though I'm shit scared. I'm like really scared. And I'm nervous about the recovery as well, because like, you know, like I said, you don't know how the recovery is going to go either way, do you? Like you could have a really traumatic vaginal birth and it could take weeks, months to recover, and same for the C-section or vice versa, you know, you just don't know. So it's not guaranteed that it's going to be absolutely horrendous, but it's going to be tough. Like, it's going to be really hard, and there's going to be certain things I can't do, which is going to be incredibly frustrating for me, because if you follow me for a while, you will know I am Mrs. Crack on and just sort of want to do everything all the time. And I'm not a very good patient. I don't rest well. So it's actually going to be really difficult, I think, for me to properly just sort of let Chris take care of me, which he's just like, you have to let me do this. So that is our plan, basically, is like, Chris is gonna do everything. which I'm gonna hate. Chris is gonna do everything, and I am just gonna focus on healing, sleeping, and breastfeeding and bonding with baby. They are my concerns for the very least the first week or two, and Chris is just going to do everything else. And to be honest, I think it's really nice as well for him as a birthing partner, or just partner in general, because it must be really difficult for your partner, the person not carrying the baby, to see everything that you're going through, and they just kind of feel like a bit of a spare part sometimes. And so he says he's actually really looking forward to it in that respect, because he can do nappies, he can clean, he can sort out my medication, make sure that I'm drinking, make sure that I'm eating, you know, and he will be so involved, and that's actually really nice. So that's our plan, is to just take it super, super slow. Obviously, like, move around as much as possible without overdoing it. And I've been researching so many different things on like things that can help, like apparently chewing gum straight afterwards really helps, peppermint tea. I'm going to get a little footstool so I can step in and out of bed a little bit easier. Maybe have baby sleeping on Chris's side so he can pass baby to me and I'm not twisting and all that kind of stuff. Although I don't know how you get through the first night in hospital in general on your own with this little thing that's just come out, and then they're like, there you go, then look after it, and you're like, I'm on my own. I've just been through this huge physical and emotional trauma. What the hell do I do? I've got no work experience. But especially when you've had a C-section and you can't twist and you can't move properly, the catheter might still be in, all that kind of jazz. So yeah, that's a bit daunting. But, you know, I think we're just gonna have to muddle through and figure it all out. So yeah, like little footstools, peppermint tea, chewing gum, big pants. In fact, I've got some at Matalan that I need to go and pick up today, that are like really high-waisted, so they're not gonna rub the incision. I've got nighties, so I'm not wearing any tops and bottoms. So basically nothing around my tummy. Everything's just like flowy and all that kind of stuff. What else? I don't know. I don't know, my brain is so full. So yeah, I'm just trying to like research all those little bits and figure out how it goes. And you know, sometimes with C-sections it can slow down your milk coming in, so that's a little bit of a worry for me, because I really do want to breastfeed, so I'm going to try and focus so much on that colostrum harvesting from like 37 weeks or whatever to try and get as much as we can. There's a lot in this little head right now, but overall we feel really positive, we feel supported, and we are just going to try and make this experience as positive and as personal and as magical and as special as we can, even if it might look a little bit different to how you would think things were gonna go, you know? So what I would love is if anybody has any positive either scheduled or emergency C-section stories, or any positive tips, or you know, any words of encouragement that you can give me and also anybody else watching who is going to be having a C-section, please, if you feel okay to share, pop them in the comment section. It would be amazing to hear from you. It would be lovely to have like a comment section full of positive stories, because I feel like with anything in parenthood, pregnancy and all that jazz, you see a lot of negative stuff, and I feel like my brain gets very full very quickly with the negative things, and what I need is some positive things to balance it out. It's not going to make me go into this with rose tinted glasses, trust me. I am very realistic and I'm very nervous, but if we could have some positive stories, that would be amazing. And as always, if you have a look in the info bar, I always leave links to resources if you haven't had the experience you wanted and you maybe got a negative experience of either C-sections, birth, pregnancy, anything. If you have a look in there, there's some resources for you and places to go where there's dedicated support for you if you feel like you need to talk about the opposite side of things as well. Sending you the biggest hug, honestly. So yeah, it's great that there's those places out there for people to go to talk to people and other people that are going through those things. But it would be amazing if anybody's got any positive C-section advice to pop it in the comment section and we can see. But yeah, that's it. We're having a baby next month. Sorry, what? It is really cool knowing their birthday, I must admit. Like, I feel like C-sections can be a little bit shitty, so we'll take any positive bits that we can get, and one of the positive bits is knowing baby's birthday. That's pretty cool. We know their star sign, we know their birthday, and as long as they don't come early, that's when they're going to be born. I feel like with me as a mum and Chris as a dad, we are both chronically late. So I feel like if they came early, it would be a surprise. They'd be an overachiever for sure in this family. But yeah, it's exciting. It really is. We're having a baby next month. But it's a lot. So any support, any words of encouragement and advice you can give would be great. We're gonna do this, it's gonna be cool, and I will share my experience, not like the experience, but you know what I mean, like I'm happy to talk about it, and we'll see how it goes, and if I come up with any tips and stuff myself along the way, I'll be sure to share those as well with you. But yeah, that's what's happening. That's how our baby is coming into the world, and pretty cool. Modern medicine, eh? As long as everybody is safe, that is all that matters, and yeah, that's it. Anyway, I'm gonna go because it is really getting dark now. But thank you for watching, thank you for being kind and lovely as always, and I will see you in the next one. I'm gonna go and eat a cream cake that I got from my favourite bakery earlier. I've been thinking about it throughout the whole video. If I've looked a bit distracted, it's because I'm thinking about cake, okay? Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye.